everybody. Today we're going to continue taking a look at dividing using our place value chart. And I was super excited that on Friday, when a lot of you were tackling your application problem, many of you tried using our new model on our place value chart for division to solve the application problem. And that was so cool to see you guys applying that brand new learning. Many of you found that it didn't work out so well. And that's because you ended up having a remainder in the tens place and you weren't quite sure what to do about that. So today's lesson is exactly what to do about that when you have a remainder in the tens place. So let's take a look. Let's do a quick review about just using the place value chart for division in the first place. If I have 3 divided by 2, I'm going to show 3 ones in my ones place. I'm going to draw 2 rows in the bottom to be able to parcel them out nice and equally. And I'm going to start parceling them like this, right? I have 1 left over, so I'm going to circle it, and that's my remainder. So I'll write my quotient. My quotient is 1 because I have 1 in each row, and then I have 1 as a remainder. To check my work, I will simply do, I will simply do my quotient, which is 1, multiplied by my divisor, which is 2, to get 2, add my remainder back on, and I should end up with my dividend, or my starting number here, which is 3. And if I did, bravo, we've got it correct. So when I write my answer up here, I would write that I have the answer of 1 with a remainder of 1. And that's because at this point in time anyway, we aren't going to be taking that single 1 and dividing it into smaller parts like halves, right? Remember, if we had these be cookies, we could take a cookie and divide it in half and say each person gets 1 1/2, right? But we're not there yet. We're not going to be doing that and breaking up that one whole single item. But let's see what happens when we have a remainder in the tens place. Here we have a very similar problem, except for this time, instead of 3 divided by 2, it's 30 divided by 2. So I'm going to start by showing my 30. I'm going to draw my nice 2 rows at the bottom to be able to parcel it out. I'm going to go ahead and start parceling. I'm going to take 110, it goes here, 110 goes here. Now, here is my issue. I have 110 that's left over, and it doesn't go equally into those rows. So what am I going to do? I don't want to write that my answer is 1 with a remainder of 1, because that doesn't make sense. If I did, let's take a look at what would happen. If I said that my answer was 1 with a remainder of 1, to check my work, I would do 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 plus 1, and that's 3. That was like our other problem, right? That doesn't make sense. So let's take a look. If I have a leftover 10, I'm going to tell you that you're going to need to break it up into ones. How many of you know that 10 can be easily divided by 2? Sure, you know you can get 5, right? So I'm going to take my 10 and I'm going to shift it over to my ones place, and I'm going to trade it in for ones. I'm going to get my 10 ones for that 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I can parcel those ones out. 1 here, 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 here, and here. And look at that. It divides nice and equally. So my quotient, if I look across my row with my 10s and my 1s, I have 1, 10, 5, 1s. My quotient is going to be 15 with a remainder of 0. And now I'll check my work. I will write my quotient, 15, multiply it by my divisor, which is 2. And I know that 2 10s is 20, 2 5s is 10, 20 plus 10 is 30, and that should give me my dividend, my starting number, which it did. So when you have an extra remaining 10, you're going to shift it over into the ones place, and then you're going to continue to parcel it out. Let's take a look at another example. This time we have 4 times 3, so a nice simple single digit one. 1, 2, whoops, forgot to make it bigger again, guys, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. I'm going to make 3 equal rows here this time. I'm going to go ahead and parcel it out. I end up with a quotient of 1 with a remainder of 1. I'm going to check my work. My quotient is 1 times my divisor of 3 gives me 3, plus my remainder gives me my first number that I started with, right? My dividend, 4. Now let's take a look. What if we have that 4 in the tens place instead of the ones? So this time we have 42 divided by 3. We'll do 4 tens, 2 ones. Again, we're going to make it into 3 nice even rows. 1, 2, 3 equal groups. Go bigger again. I'm going to start to parcel out my tens. 1 10 goes here, 1 10 goes here, 1 10 goes here. Quick reminder, always start with your tens. I saw some of you last week starting with your ones, and last week it didn't matter too much, but I told you to try to get in the habit of starting with the tens for a reason. Here's the reason. If you have a leftover 10, you're going to need to scooch it over to the ones, and you don't want to parcel out your ones first. If we had tried to parcel out our ones first, we would look here and say we don't have enough, and we would think we have a remainder of 2. But let's see if that's actually the case when we shift that 10 over. So I'm going to circle my 10, show that I'm moving it over, and I'm going to put 10 more ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't forget, you're not making a total of 10 ones. You're taking that 1 10 and putting 10 more ones in addition to whatever ones are already there. Now I can parcel these ones out. 1 here, 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 and here. And look at that. It worked out nice and neat and even. So if I look across each row, I've got a 10 and 4 ones. So it looks like my quotient is 14 with a remainder of 0. Now let's check. I'm going to take my quotient, multiply it by my divisor. I'm going to just write out my partial sum so I can see it, because 14 times 3 is not one that I do in my head. So I'm going to do 10 times 3 is 30. Whoops. And then I'm going to do 4 times 3 is 12. And then 30 plus the 12 is 42. And look at that. Does it match my dividend? It sure does. One of the cool things to look at too and notice is that when I write out my partial products, I think I said partial sums earlier, I meant partial products. When you look at your partial products, take a look. 10 times 3 is 30. That's what I've got in my tens place. 4 times 3 is 12. That's what I've got in my ones place. So it's the reverse. What we're doing on our place value chart for division is just the reverse of what we were doing for our partial products. Let's take a look at one last example. Sometimes you might be left with more than 1 10 as a remainder. Let's see what happens when that takes place. So I'm going to draw my 84. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. I'm going to make nice 3 equal groups down here. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm just going to start to parcel out my tens. 1 10 for here, 1 10 for here, 1 10 for here, 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 and here. Now I only have 2 tens left. I don't have 3. So I can't parcel those out nicely. I can't share them equally. So I'm going to have to turn all of those tens into ones. So I'm going to show that I'm going to make those into ones. If I have 2 tens made into ones, I'm going to have to draw 20 more of these dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is really important. Keep yourself organized and neat. It's going to be easy to lose track of all those ones if you aren't organized. Now you're going to start to share out those ones nice and equally. 1, 1 here, and so on. And we're just going to keep going. And even I'm, with my organization here, feeling like I'm getting a little lost. Uh-oh, I accidentally missed one down there. I'm going to make sure I get it there. Let's see if I do this right, guys. I think I'm going to get it. Perfect. My ones shared out nice and equally. No remainders in this case. Take a look at each row. I have 2 tens and 3, 6, 8 ones. So I think I've got a quotient of 28. and a remainder of 0. Checking my work, I'm going to write my quotient of 28, multiply by 3, my divisor. I'm going to show my partial sums here. 20 times 3 is 60. I know 8 times 3 is 24. And 60 plus 24 is 84. If you need to show your partial, I said sums again, guys. If you need to show your partial products to figure out your multiplication problem at the end, feel free to do so. If you are comfortable doing it mentally, you can, but you do need to show your multiplication problem for your check. And if there's a remainder, you need to show that you've added that back on and that you end up with your original dividend. And I'm going to check. I ended up with 84, and we had started with 84. So it looks like we did a great job. We have divided 84 into 3 equal groups using our place value chart. Now it's your turn to give it a try. Don't forget, start with your tens. Regroup any remaining tens back into ones. Show your work. Let me know if you have any questions.